Good morning. At least I think it's morning. I was up too late again last night. Hopefully everybody can hear my audio and my gravelly voice. I need to put the camera over here because I've moved the monitor for OBS over here. So I keep looking at the monitor instead of here. So anyway, sorry about that. So, this morning, welcome everybody. Happy Father's Day weekend and all that. Yes, Trina, I am going to look at some hardware. So, yeah, it's still early. So, who do we have in the chat today? Well, I really do need to rearrange these screens a bit. So, we always have Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. He's usually first, and he's also first to leave because his priorities are mixed up and he has to work. So, we all feel your pain, Dave. Mac 84, Eep, welcome. And Trina's Technobabble. Trina has been pestering me, encouraging me to do some hardware for months and months and months. Today it's part hardware, part HyperCard. So, let's see who else we got. Garth Beagle, Mr. Beagle. Saw Mr. Beagle in an old music video the other day. So, looking good. Who else do we have? Sorry, gotta scroll. Trina, are you very chatty today? Eric Rangel. Hello, Eric. Hello from Cardassia. And Apple's Anonymous. Hey, it's good to have you. Billgoats, hello. From a little over the pond, or over the water. And Gut Bomb, yo. Okay, I think I got everybody. So, I'm still consuming caffeine. It is my elixir. So, let's switch over to the bench cam. Oh yeah, here's one of the machines we're going to look at. The other one's on the bench. These machines were part of the hoard. Don't apologize for being excited. It means you're alive. HyperCard and ROM. Yeah, there was actually... I read an article from the first year of HyperCard. Somebody claimed that Apple was considering, or at least somebody was trying to make the argument at Apple, to put it in the ROM so that it could become the sort of the new Finder, that you could use it as a desktop application environment built into the ROM and the OS, and that went nowhere, unfortunately. So, oh yeah, let's switch cameras. Okay. Oh, I apologize for the tribble. These things get everywhere. Let me turn the mic a bit. Okay. I used to, there was a store called Think Geek that sold stuff like this. And my wife bought me one for Christmas, and they accidentally sent me two. And of course, instead of dealing with returns and stuff like that, they just told me to keep it. But it's not just a fuzzy ball, it also vibrates and does its thing. So anyway, I don't know where the other one snuck off to. It's around here. So, oh, there it is. So here's the other one. It's gray. You know, they age pretty fast. Anyway, so Let me see if I can move this camera back a little bit. Here is our G4, or the first one. Pretty scuffed up. This was from that $60 hoard I bought. Some guy was trying to sell a laser printer, or a laser writer, and he kept dropping the price on it, and eventually I said, okay, I'm interested. And he said, well, I have a whole bunch of stuff I'm trying to get rid of because I'm moving. Would you be interested in it? And I said, well, I might be, you know, thinking he was going to want more money. And he says, oh, no, just give me the $60. You can have it all. So the stream is not safe for work. It vibrates. Yeah. It vibrates and it squeals with pleasure. Or chatters? I don't know. Anyway, so let's look at the specs of this thing. Man, these are heavy. This is loose. Oh, that's the front. Oh. Oh. Okay, so it's a Power Mac G4 according to the label, and I don't have my glasses on. Hang on. Oh. It does have a video card in it. Sorry, trying to get my glasses. Alright. It is a 450 megahertz, 1 megabyte cache, 128 megabyte RAM, 10 gigabyte hard drive. It has a zip, a DVD, blah blah blah. It didn't come with a keyboard or anything, so it's missing that. Spin it around here and look at the front. Wait. Oh. But you'll notice the sticker on here, it's a zip drive 250 megabyte. So I don't have any. It'll do 100. I've got some 100 discs. I don't think I've got any 250s. So let's see what's going on inside. Oof. Oh. Well, right off the bat, there's no memory. Oh, they have an internal firewire in these things. Oh, and we do have to extract the battery. This one's from, it's made in Israel. You know, this one might be a new battery. Anyway, I don't know if you need a battery for these to boot or not. Oh. Yeah, no 56K modem. I think this guy may have combined parts, or, you know, this may have been stripped of parts. I mean, it still has the video card, so. But it's not going to boot. I love this. The drives are loose in the case. They're not mounted. So we have a IBM Desk Star. And a Mac Store. So there's not much point in firing this up since it doesn't have any ROM. Excuse me, any RAM. And it's pretty dusty. Anyway, we're going to take the battery out. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I don't like how... Oh, you can't see that. Sorry. This is very loose. I don't know if tightening that down would make a difference or not, but anyway. So that's one machine. Maybe I can get enough parts together to make it run. Man, those are heavy. If this machine is in the same shape, we're not going to go very far. So, here's another one. It's another Power Mac G4. Let's see what it's got. Why did you do such tiny print? Well, I'm not going to read any of that. It's too small. It does have a video card. Man, these things weigh almost as much as an eMac. Let's take a... I actually took a picture of the label on this one, so maybe I can read it. Okay, this is a 867 megahertz dash DP, 256 megabyte, 60 gigabyte hard drive, DVD, CD-RW, DVD, CD-RW, GF4MX. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Hang on a second. I had to sacrifice the monitor. Oops. Too much stuff hanging around. I had to sacrifice a monitor to on the bench so that I could hook these up when I run them. And normally I'd read the chat off of there on the bench, but I can't. So again, need to rethink the monitors. Okay, so what's going on in the chat here? A lot of good mornings. Tribbles vibrate, yes. Heavy metal, yeah. That's a 400 megahertz AGP graphite sawtooth. I assume you're talking about the graphics card. Oh, okay. Yeah, I wish they didn't weigh so much. I would just send it to you, Trina. Yeah, the 250 discs are kind of a problem. Yeah, that sticker's pretty cool. I'll have to try to get a high-res image of it and post it somewhere, Steve. Oh, take the glasses off. Be a lot easier to read. Which is counterintuitive, but progressive lenses are a pain when it comes to monitors. Yeah, what's up with a FireWire port on the inside? What the heck did they use that for? Oh, good, no batteries required. Yeah, early model, low-end model of original. Just pop it in an envelope and send it to you. Okay, so let's open this one up. But first, coffee. There's a certain YouTuber that likes to slurp their beverage when they start a stream, and I guess it's a thing, but it just bothers me. I don't know why. I mean, people should do what they want to do, but why would you do that? I don't know. All right, what we got in this one? So we have a battery. There's your modem, right? There's your Wi-Fi. Let's get the battery out. Spudger. Really? Come on. I'm probably doing this the wrong way. There we go. Saft, lithium. Okay, all right, so we'll set that aside. We've got some manner of video card. Just take a look and see what it is. Pardon me while I look for a tool. That ain't gonna work. I'll have to get out the real tools. Excuse me for a moment. Oh, if you're looking for an inexpensive iFixit style kit, you can't go wrong. RetroTech did a review of these. He's got an excellent review. But this is a clone from Harbor Freight. And it's got quite a few bits in it, so it's got everything you get from the iFixit kit. It also comes with some other instruments of torture, and even the suction cup thingy, and wrist strap, and the usual black sticks and stuff like that. But anyway, it's almost half the cost. So if you're on a budget, and it appears to work just as good. So all right. Oh, and one of the things I actually like the handle on this too. It's got this nice knurled edge, spinny top. In my opinion, and I think RetroTech said the same thing. The handle here with the edges on it, it's got some square edges, is better than the iFixit one. That screw is almost stripped. Is there a clip or something on the bottom of that? I am not as familiar with these machines. Oh, yep, there's a clip. Okay, this is a something. Anybody recognize the card? Sorry, let me get it centered. Boop. Anyway, it's made in China, so it's the best quality, right? Oh, I see. It just snaps into there. Okay, we'll put this back together. This does have RAM in it. Four sticks is something. Anyway, it does have a hard drive. I say we try firing it up. And put away the tools. Anyway, it's a Quinn 89-piece toolkit. They count the case as one of the pieces. From Harbor Freight. Can't go wrong with it. Okay, so very dusty. Let's turn the camera towards the monitor. I apologize for the angle, but this is what I'm working with this morning. Let's give it some power. I got a keyboard and a mouse around here. I love these short keyboards. It's really nice to have a short keyboard because I don't use the number pad on keyboards. I learned to type on an IBM Selectric typewriter. You didn't have a number pad. You just had the keys where everybody uses them. Of course, you can't see what I'm doing. I'm plugging in cables and stuff. Keyboard. Alright, so let's start it up, see what happens. Are they always that loud? Okay, we got an apple. Hey, look at that. It's December 31st, 1969. What is the date? 6/15. I was what but a wee lad in 1969. "9:26 a.m. So apparently there's a DVD in this drive. Looks like it's an OS 9.2.1. Let's eject that. It's actually the retail disc. So that's nice. So did they put two? Oh, I could put memory in the other one and try it. Hardware portion is over. Yes, we're now into software. So I think this computer was used for educational purposes. Um, and it's entirely possible that the guy who owned this, logged in, refreshed it, did whatever. So it might not have any of the software it originally did, or rather that the school had on it, because I think he got most of his equipment from a university. Um, but anyway, so what do we got here about this Mac? So it's a dual 867 megahertz PowerPC G4 with 2 gigabytes of RAM. So those must be 512 megabyte sims. Yeah, we'll do that. I'll go that far. About this Mac. Oh, I did. So there you go. More info. Like I said, sorry about the angle here. Maybe that'll make it a little easier. So it's a 3,6. It does have an airport card in it. I don't think this is going to work. Yeah, that protocol is not covered anymore. So let me catch up on the chat here. Ugh. So yeah, we'll pull some RAM out of this and throw it in the other one and see what happens. Start programming. No, not on this. Man, this thing is loud. Okay, but this is working, so either this guy pieced it together or it happened to have all the parts. All right, let's turn it off. Oh, yeah, the guy that I bought this from, his name's here. He must have reinstalled. Yeah, I tend to turn my computers off each day. So the only one that's been up and running for any length of time is I have a Quadra 610 that's hosting Global Talk. Yes, I want to shut it down. And that thing's been running for a couple of months. The RAM's probably not compatible. Okay. I've got some random sticks around, but I'm not going to sort through that today. So we'll just let it go at this. Okay, Trina, hardware's over. Those fans have a repair replacement warranty, so I could haul this into the Genius bar. The problem is I wouldn't be able to lift it up to the top of the bar. Okay, good to know. Don't leave it plugged in. Yep, I actually do have a separate network for the, or at least a separate switch for the old net. Okay. Anyway, so that's it for the hardware. Let's get on with the software. So let me switch things around here. Reposition the mic. I need to have two different. I'm going to have to get another mic so that I can do this a little easier. Anyway. Coffee. Where did I leave my coffee? Okay. So. Hey, I'm back. Let's get into, and it's HyperCard, of course. Although I did find something, and I'm going to play around with this later. Where is the book? Somebody was looking at or talking about a Sinclair, what do you call those? Oh, the really crappy keyboard computer, the 8-bit one that was sold in the Timex Sinclair. And I remembered that there was some books and stuff that came with that when I bought it. So I thought I had this basic computer games book. I'm thinking about, maybe I'll type some of these in. Not today, but this book was written so that they had notes on how to convert the programs for almost anything. Conversion to other basics. So that might be fun to mess around with. I do have that computer. The problem is that you can't hardly see the video coming out. Let me see if I can dig that box up. So I was at a flea market, and this guy had it, sold it to me for $10. So, I wasn't out much. Came with this mixed bag, game bag tape. And it's pretty clean. It's missing the label. The label's missing up here. And I did plug it in, and you could just barely see the prompt. It came with the user manual. and also this book, Biting Deeper into Your Timex Sinclair. Kind of an awkward title, but, you know. Give it a chance. Maybe I can get my teeth into it. Haha. So I should probably do an RGB conversion on it or something like that and see if it'll work. Yeah, the keyboard is just terrible. Yeah, tiny comp for it. Gee, where could you get a tiny comp? I think there's this place, you know, we all need a place where you can go with your friends and get the things that you need, like a tiny comp. And we all know the Amazon of retro computing is Joe's Computer Museum, or jcm-1.com. He has some really cool rainbow colored shoes that you can get there now that are part of the thing. So all the cool t-shirts, you can even get your own polka dot blanket or t-shirt or whatever. So if you wanted to pretend to be Mr. Polka Dots on eBay, you can. But go there for all your retro vintage computer needs. Not endorsed, or I don't get kickbacks. I'm still waiting for a royalty check. Thanks, Trina, for posting the link. Anyway, yes, you can also get polka dot boxer shorts. So let's go to HyperCard. Good night, Trina. Okay, so what we got here is a little bit of a demo. I'm calling this tool SQL-Like instead of SQL-Lite. Somebody beat me to it. So it is a light SQL relational database management system built into HyperCard, single user at this point, although I was talking to somebody and they reminded me of that you can do Apple Talk inside HyperCard again, and I know this because I've tried to do some multiplayer game stuff. But it occurred to me that you could write a little module that you could drop into a HyperCard stack, and it could go to a finger quote server that's your database server. I'd have to implement table locking, or at least row locking. So there's some things I'd have to do it, but it could be interesting. So getting back to this, I've been implementing an adventure game, mostly text adventure game, and I created a simple flat file database for it so that you could define the game, and there's an editor for building the game and all that. Well, it just does simple parsing of delimited text strings for the database. So there's a convoluted pile of code that I wrote that, you know, gets record matching key value, and you would pass it like the key and the value, and it would search through the finger quote database and find the matching row and stuff. And you know, most of my development life I've worked with SQL for doing this kind of thing. So yeah, CSV files are all you need. I use pipe delimited files because HyperCard has some really good functions for chunking expressions for strings. And there is something that's built off of automatically just assuming a string is a list that's comma separated. The problem with that is, what if your text has a comma in it? You know, the usual CSV problem. So I went with a pipe delimiter because it's unlikely anybody's going to use a vertical pipe inside their text. But that means I have to set the delimiter value all the time when I'm parsing, anyway, it's doable. Well, it occurred to me that I could build something like Btrieve. Back in the day, in the late 80s, early 90s, we had like DBase 3, DBase 2. Btrieve was a library that was used, and it wasn't a relational database necessarily, kind of was, but you could go get a record, you could do a record on a filter, you know, things like that. It was very programmatic, so it was, you wrote your queries and everything for the database and updates programmatically. SQL is a declarative syntax and not a programmatic one, procedural one. So I kind of thought maybe I could do a cheesy SQL parser. I didn't build a tokenizer because HyperCard already has built-in stuff you can use for tokenizing. Might go back and rewrite that because it is a little cheeky. But I've put together a bit of a SQL thing that implements several, features of SQL. So you've got CRUD operations, and I even went as far as doing a very inefficient join syntax. So anyway, yeah, nobody likes Excel. The only people I know that like Excel are accountants, and that's because they don't know how to program. Although I will say this, I've seen some accountants that can make Excel fly, and I can't follow the logic that they use. And this is without resorting to the VBA code inside it. It's amazing what they can do, but they're bean counters. That's their job. I do not like it for an environment for solving problems. So, but I'm a programmer. Anyway, so getting back to this code. So SQL-Like is a HyperCard relational database management system. So a database in here it contains a line for each record. Each record's items are separated with a pipe character. See you, Dave. Don't work too hard today. So items in the record are defined by key and value pairs. So the structure, the definition of the database tables is part of the record. It's not the most efficient way to do it, but it makes it simple. A record contains a key and value pair, like table, vertical pipe, employee. The remaining key and value pairs define each column name and value. For example, table named employee with 2 columns would look something like this, where you got table employee first, Bob, last, Doe, etc. So it's pretty simple. It's easy to understand. And I implemented a select statement. So you could say select first comma last from employee, and it'll scroll through and seek out records and see if it is a record from the table employee, and it'll get the first and last name and do it. Let's see, I gotta scroll down a bit. There's no scroll wheel on this. Alright. And I won't go into a lot of details on this. I don't know how many of you guys know SQL or SQL. But anyway, so you can do a select statement with a where clause. So it says where last contains the letter O. One of the things that you'll notice about this is that the expression parser is not strictly SQL. It's actually HyperCard, HyperTalk. So those are HyperTalk expressions that can be evaluated using the do command, which is kind of like eval in JavaScript, so that I could execute expressions and not have to go through and build my own expression parser. So that made it a little easier to write. So it's not strictly SQL, it's SQL-Like. You can use an asterisk instead of the list of the column names, and it'll return all the columns. And then I go on to talk about how, so we'll jump in and try this out. I implemented joining between two tables. I don't have nested joins yet. Eval in JavaScript is dangerous. It's also dangerous in HyperCard. But it's the way to do it. None of the code here checks for anything. If you've got a poorly formed SQL statement, it'll error out or do weird things. So, you know, it's version 0.1. So I've got a join or inner join. I've got field aliases with joining. So if you want to pull in the department name, so there's a department table, you can do as DEPT so that it renames the column. That way you avoid conflicts where you've got the same name field twice. I've got an outer join, a left join, and a right join. And then I've also implemented some create, update, and delete operations. You can insert into, you can update, and you can delete. This is what I was doing last night. I wrote the insert, update, and delete functionality last night. So it's actually coming along better than I thought it would, but again, I'm not doing any error handling or checking or anything. You could put gobbledygook in here and it'll just blow chunks when you run the code. Alright, so here's my little test bench for it. And I've got a couple of tables defined here. Now, you could use separate files for each table. That would be like btrieve or some of the other databases, so that you only load the tables you need by loading the files you need. I went with a simpler approach where the entire game is in a single file, so I wrote this so that all the records, the entire database, is in a single file. Hence the requirement of naming what the table is so that you know what the record is. I didn't want to have to do a header that described the schema and then the records without the schema embedded. So again, it's verbose, but I kept it simple. The schema's built into the record. Yeah, reinventing the wheel is what I'm best at. So here's a select statement with a join. So let's do something simple first, though. Let me get my keyboard organized here. Select star from employee. We'll run that. And there you go. Now, for a result, I named the table because I wanted to be able to take this and parse it or do other things with it. So programmatically or procedurally, I could take the results, it's another database, and then use the, pass that string in to the parser and do select statements on it and stuff. So the idea here is that what you get as a result is also a database. So the table is named result, and it's got the employee ID, first, last name, blah, 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 phone number, all those fields, including the fields from the department table. So it's not as useful when you've got a join to do an asterisk like that and grab every field. So, wrong keyboard, sorry. So last, first, let's get the department name. So department.name. And I believe this requires naming the table on all the fields. It's not smart enough yet to tell which field comes from where. Okay, so we don't have a department. We've got to do, let's do a left join. So what that'll do is it'll get every record from employee, and if they have a department, it'll get that. If it doesn't, it'll still return the employee record. So, so we're going to left join department on department dot ID equals employee dot what did I call this field? Department ID. Okay, so what this should return yes. I started with select and I'm working my way through, but yes, you should be able to do create table statements. And a create database for that matter. That would be a new file, perhaps. Yeah, should be able to do all of that. So this should select employee last name, employee first name, department name from the employee table and any matching department. And I got an error. So what did I do wrong? Oh, it's just ID. Oh, no, that's ID. Let's do this. There. Okay, I had some in... Oh. I did an alias for the department name, calling it department. I probably had a typo somewhere. Anyway, so here, now if we added a record for an employee, I don't have identity columns that auto increment, but that's something I'd like to add. So this would be employee ID 3. First is Frank. Last is, I don't know, Brandy. I'm not going to bother with the email and all that. Here's the difference. You don't have to define things as a consistent database. So if I don't define all of the columns, it'll still work. So it's a little bit of a ragged left kind of a record. I'm not enforcing any real normalized, third normal form kind of rules for things. So if the code works, the code works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So let's say, let's put in a department ID, and we'll leave it null. And then we're going to add who their manager ID is, and we'll say 1. Okay, so if we do that, okay, it blew up. Do I have to have something here? Nope, it's still screwing up. What's going on? It doesn't like the where clause. Let's do that. Yeah, it still don't like it. Debug. So obviously I borked something last night while I was working on this. Manager 1 equals, okay. What did I do? Okay, we're not going to worry about that right now. Obviously, I had something malformed. But where... This is the problem with this kind of code. You don't know what's going to happen. So, let's say where manager... Oh, I see what's wrong. No, that's not it. Department... dot name contains A. Well, they all contain A. Let's try B. No, so there's something wrong with the parser for that clause. So it's the expression parser. What this does is evaluates an expression, and so it can take a where clause. It could take, you know, the conditional logic. If you put like a calculation in here, it'll do that. So let's try that. Select. I should have worked out my examples so that I knew they all worked before today, but that's how this happens. From employee plus, let's get everybody a raise. Now, see, it didn't evaluate that. Oh, I know why. I was working on insert or update. So if I do update employee, set salary equals salary plus 10,000 . The result set, let me close the variable watch. So what I'm having it do is do an update on the DB, the database, and then return the entire database and the result so I can debug it right now. So I increase the salary. So So if you look here, Bob has 95,000. I made it 105. Excuse me, 105,000. Anyway, so that's where I'm at right now. Obviously, it has bugs, but I eventually want to throw this into the adventure game because it'd be a hell of a lot easier to throw in SQL statements and run this. Leave out the where clause. So, oh, okay, I did. I gave everybody a $10,000 raise. You're welcome. So I could add the where clause. Manager ID is not empty. Let's be elitist. Okay, it only updated the manager employee record. No, I don't think it parsed that expression right. Let's say if it is empty. Oh, okay, there. This one's got a manager ID. Yeah, apparently my expression parser is out to lunch. So I broke it last night when I was doing stuff, probably. You're welcome for the raise. Anyway, that's where it's at. Got to do some debugging. But eventually I'd like to have it so that I could use this between multiple applications, so you could have a common database that's shared. Maybe. I don't know. Locking is going to be a pain in the butt, so I don't know. I could do last in wins, kind of no locking. Yeah, you shouldn't use the SA account to do things in your database. And I've actually had to reprimand people, DBAs, who should know better not to do that. So I was a developer, which means I'm the nemesis of your of a good database administrator, because I'll do whatever I need to get the code to work. Efficiency is not my concern, right? There's another style of database administrator that's more of a server admin, and they don't care so much about the efficiency of you know, how developers are using the database. They just want to make sure that the DB is up and running. So, but that's neither here nor there. Different styles. Okay, so that's about it for the stream today. It's been an hour, and the coffee hasn't quite taken hold yet. Let me switch cameras again. So there you go. The beginnings of a SQL parser for HyperCard that only I could love. Maybe a few other people. Could convert this to be a C based external command so that it'd run a lot faster. There are a couple out there already, but they're weird, and they're more like btree, not SQL. So I'm surprised I got this far with how much time I put in it. Excuse me. So anyway, let's do the... Oh, if I want some memory for that tower, yeah, probably, but let me look around. I might already have some stuck in a box somewhere. I would like to get them working, at least to a point where somebody would care to buy it at VCF Midwest, because I don't need these computers. And I'm not, I mean, I am collecting computers, but the theory is that I'd only keep the ones I use. So I'm going to be selling off a bunch of stuff at VCF. Yeah, Joe, you're just in time for the end. So that's okay. It was half hardware and half programming. So so coming up here shortly is VCF Midwest. I've requested both a table and to do a presentation. Presentation will be on HyperCard. The table, I plan on having half the table be stuff I'm trying to get rid of, and the other half of the table will be demos of the games and things that I'm working on. So, and I'll probably stick all the games on the computers I'm trying to get rid of too. So hopefully I get a table. They haven't announced tables yet being available. And I won't find out about doing a presentation until August. So there you go. I hear that VCF Southwest is going on right now, and our favorite people are there. So Kate's there. She's got Mackie with her. So if you have an opportunity to go to that, you should. What else is going on? I'm tired. No, wait a minute. You don't want to go into... Oh, I had a bit of a fender bender the other day. That was fun. So the Saturn is out of commission right now because I don't have headlight or signals on one corner of it, and the front end's trying to come off. Plastic car, so I got to get that fixed. Yeah, and it's an interactive Mackie from what I hear. But I believe Mackie is interactive even when he's not interactive. He just chooses when to be interactive. So that's it for today's stream. I know, long goodbye. Like and subscribe if you care to, if you haven't already. The fundraiser over here, that's more of a joke than a fundraiser, but I do use coffee money to, I don't need to do much to regrow a beard, so that's really a joke. But I do use those funds to do things like buy somebody's hoard of computers for $60. It doesn't come along very often. And to fund other things like, where did it go? I did a live stream where I installed this, and this is something I bought at auction. I'm gonna play around with doing some probably some DOS programming and stuff in there, in that virtual environment. I think that would be fun. What else? Oh yeah, so coffee if you care. Patreon, if you care to contribute to that, as little as $1 a month. Those funds go towards other patrons, creators, so that we can help them out. So it's pretty much just an exchange, and we also prop up Patreon, I guess, because they take their cut. What else can I talk about? I'm on the socials, so I'm on Mastodon at bigbang.social. I'm on Blue Sky, and that's Eric's Edge. Of course, you found me on YouTube, Eric's Edge Videos. I'm on Discord, and that's it. So, thanks for joining, everybody. I am going to play the outro now, which I've heard is a little bit high volume, so protect your ears. Goodbye.